Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Mad Meta Magic, where we try to make the magic meta mad. Now, I just shelled out for a playset of Cavern of Souls, because it was the only expensive card I was missing from playing this deck. I also don't know if this is supposed to be running Temur Omnath in addition to 4-color Omnath, and why it isn't maxed out on one or the other. But this is the list as I saw it, so I figured, why not? This is probably the only list I'm actually comfortable playing Omnath in, because it gets the landfall triggers via, cool elemental interaction, and not just herder, explore, play, fetch land. But this Mad Meta Magic is going to be a little bit different, because they've closed the competitive league right now while they're preparing to update today. But that's not going to be for a bit, because this is very early in the morning. So we're going to play some elementals in the 2-man queue. So who knows what we're going to run up against, and hopefully I can get, at least a few matches in before they take it down to update. So, I'll try and play 5 as if it were a league, but no guarantee that's what's going to happen. Alright, here we go, round 1. Well, I'm no expert, but I don't think I can keep a hand without lands, so I'm going to mulligan. We are against Burn. That is one nice thing about Companions, is usually, you can tell what you're playing against while you're mulliganing. So, this actually seems pretty good. The question is, what do I dump here? There's a good chance that Smoke Braider's just going to die, but it is an early play. I'm thinking I get rid of Voice of Resurgence, despite its power here. Okay, opponent starts Mountain, Bomb at Courier. So now the question is, do we hide the fact that we're playing Elementals? We can do that for 1 turn by playing out Ancient Ziggurat. Okay, we get a Thunderkin Awakener. Play Ancient Ziggurat, pass the turn. It does mean our opponent does not have to worry about, us casting spells on their turn. We get hit for 1, down to 18, we untap. We draw a Phantasmal Image, so... unfortunately, well, I guess that doesn't matter, never mind. Play a Mountain, Smoke Braider. Pass the turn. Opponent stomps the Smoke Braider. They untap. They play a Mountain, and they play a Blood Moon. How rude. Can we beat a Blood Moon? Play another Smoke Braider. Pass the turn. Alright. So my opponent untaps. Plays a Mountain. It's kind of interesting that our Mana Dork is a red Mana Dork. That does help us get around Blood Moon a bit. Yeah, no way are we blocking. Opponent does not have something to trigger Prowess? Wow. They were worried we were going to trade with Courier. It's like a 0% chance of that happening, too. Alright, we untap. Best case scenario, I don't know if we play a basic island, but if we could draw one, that'd be great. Primal Beyond. 1 second, let me look at this deck list. We have a basic Mountain and a basic Plains in the deck. Alright, so we're going to say green, or blue-green, tap red, play Risen Reef. Always yield the Risen Reef. Okay, we draw Lightning Skelemental. Play Thunderkin Awakener. Put a Primal Beyond into play, tapped. Play Primal Beyond. If we attack with Thunderkin Awakener, it just dies, but at the same time it also gets us a card deeper, which could be critical here. Okay, we get a Reflecting Pool. Because we're going to need to kind of make up this difference with card advantage, I think. Opponent trades off an Elemental token basically unnecessarily, but... if we draw our Plains, and as long as we keep Smoke Braider, we can cast Omnath. Opponent hits us for 5, we go to 11. Are they going to put Obosh in their hand? Nope, they're going to cast Light Up the Stage. Okay. I would have thought my opponent wanted Obosh, but they may just Lightning Bolt our Smoke Braider here. Smoke Braider here is a pretty high value target, yeah. Okay. Well, I'm not sure we can actually beat Blood Moon then. Yeah. Okay. Let's go ahead and scoop this up. So we want Wispmare to help deal with enchantments. And I kind of want Vesperlark. We don't have any other enchantment destruction. So if we can keep a hand with a basic, we want to. I think I'm going to cut Phantasmal Image just because, like, without our mana staying intact, Phantasmal Image is very difficult to cast. I could bring in Ingot Chewers and stuff to destroy, like, Bombat Couriers, but I don't think that's good. Alright, yeah, let's try it like this. Let's see what happens. I've seen some builds of Elementals in the past, and I think some of them ran Aether Vial, which, like, I don't know what you would cut from this list to run Aether Vial, but at the same time, it, like, would kind of make sense. It would help shore up our ability to play under a Blood Moon. Alright, I'll play first. No basics, but we do have Smoke Braiders and Lightning Skelemental, and we're on the play. We also can Thunderkin Awakener Lightning Skelemental back, so I think I'm going to keep this. Start Cavern of Souls, naming Elemental, pass the turn. Opponent starts land into Soulscar Mage. We untap. We draw Reflecting Pool. Play Reflecting Pool, because it can add any color of mana. Play a Smoke Braider. Pass the turn. I mean, if I can play Skelemental, Phantasmal Image, Skelemental, that would be something. Opponent attacks us for 1, no blocks. Just a light up the stage play. It would appear that way. They reveal Mountain and Flame Slash, so they have an answer for Smoke Braider. They may wait to cast that. I don't think that's a good idea. I think they should just now get rid of Smoke Braider, because 2 mana bump in a deck that's this color heavy. Okay, well, they Lava Dart. We untap. We draw Primal Beyond. Yeah, let's just go with Skelemental. So play Primal Beyond, reveal Skelemental, go red, black, red, hit them for 6, and Mind Rot them. So opponent has to discard. They didn't want a Lava Dart. They thought discarding 2 cards is better. So next turn we can play Smoke Braider and Thunderkin Awakener. Opponent discards Monastery Swift Spear and Flame Slash. Alright. Opponent untaps. We also play around their sorcery speed Flame Slash that they can only cast this turn. Opponent is down to 2 cards in hand. They're going to hit us for 2. Exile a card with Bombat Courier. Okay, we untap. We draw an Unclaimed Territory. So play Unclaimed Territory, name Elemental. Play Smoke Braider. Oop, I need red mana. Actually should have waited to cast that second main, but play Thunderkin Awakener. Go to combat. Attack with Thunderkin Awakener. We will reanimate Lightning Skelemental. This is a pretty busted interaction. I think they have to Lava Dart here. Yeah, they do. Nice. They take 1. Well, if we could draw like any of our big Omnaths or Risen Reef here. Okay, opponent plays a Firebolt, kill Thunderkin Awakener. They go to combat. They attack for 2. No blocks. We go down to 15. We untap. We draw a Flamekin Harbinger. Play the Harbinger. I could then Phantasmal Image the Harbinger and stack 2 cards. So, yes, use the Harbinger's ability. If I wanted to stack 2 elemental spells, what would they be? I could put like Thunderkin Awakener underneath an Omnath, and then get them both next turn, potentially. Unless my opponent plays Land Blood Moon. I mean, I could just get like, I could get Vesperlark. Because Vesperlark and Thunderkin Awakener are this awesome value loop. I'm going to go with Thunderkin Awakener, and then clone Flamekin Harbinger and put Omnath on top. And this is going to be 4-color Omnath, not 3-color Omnath. Alright, pass the turn. What I just realized is Other than Horizon Canopy, I basically have all of the lands for humans now. I've been avoiding picking up Cavern of Souls for a very long time. I've had a single one since it was really expensive on Moto, but just for the occasional Amulet Titan deck or deck that played it as a singleton and would like tutor for it. Alright, my opponent does not attack. Well, I mean, I guess they're debating about attacks. Okay, no blocks. Take 2 damage. And opponent passes. We untap. We get an Omnath. So, white, red, blue, green. Play Omnath. Draw Thunderkin Awakener. Oh, you know what? I can't stack 2 cards. What am I thinking? I have to shuffle. Oh my gosh, how many people are yelling at me? Kano, you're dumb! Gain 4 life. Oh, jeez. Big brain plays. Search your deck, then don't shuffle it. That would be cheating in paper. My gosh. Hit them for 2. Either way, I'm glad I put the more powerful of the 2 elementals on top. Okay, opponent Lightning Bolts Omnath down to a 1/1. Now what I needed to do was play Flamekin Harbinger, draw the card, and then play the other, the Phantasmal Image on Flamekin Harbinger the next turn. That's what I needed to do, and refused to. Well, I'm not blocking with a 1/1 that's threatening to gain me 4 life. I'm gonna make you do something about it. Okay, no blocks. Kozilek's Return. Alright. That sucks. We untap. We draw Flamekin Harbinger. So, play the Flamekin Harbinger. I think we're going to get Teamer Omnath this time. I mean, I could get Thunderkin Awakener. That would be reasonable. What does Teamer Omnath do again? When it enters the battlefield, deals damage to any target equal to the number of elementals you control. Whenever a land enters the battlefield, put a 1/1 counter on an elemental you control, and if you have 8 or more lands, draw a card. No. I think I still want 4-color Omnath. Or Vesper Lark. I'm actually going to go with Vesper Lark this time. I'm going to pump fake that I'm holding something good, too. Hopefully, my opponent does not have a Blood Moon. That would just completely ruin my day. So opponent goes to combat, they attack for 1. No blocks. We take 1. Opponent lights up the stage. Bone Crusher Giant and Swift Spear. They cast Swift Spear. We untap. We draw Vesper Lark. So, white, any color, evoke Vesper Lark, getting back Thunderkin Awakener, go to combat, attack with Thunderkin Awakener, reanimate Vesper Lark. This deck is super sweet. Okay, opponent blocks. Okay, they take 2. I'm going to hold this land in hand in case I do get an Omnath back. Or in case, I get a, what do you call it? Omnath off the top or something like that. I'm actually going to Phantasmal Image and clone Thunderkin Awakener here. Because I want some redundancy on that effect if my opponent, like, stomps one. Because, like, next turn we could get Vesper Lark and Lightning Skelemental, and then what's our opponent going to do about it? Because we could, like, go get another Flamekin Harbinger and put something nasty on top of our deck. I really like the interactions and lines. I don't, I don't have, like, the best interactions or the best ways to do this memorized, because, like, I've not seen this deck played a lot, but I understand some of the powerful ones, and it's kind of fun to just figure them out and play with them here. So, I still don't think we make any adjustments. We're going into Game 3. Alright, Game 3. Unfortunately, I cannot keep a 1-lander, so we're going to mulligan. Hopefully this works. The problem is this hand is very Smoke Breeder reliant, and if my opponent just, like, Lava Dart, untap Blood Moon, we are dead in the water. I will keep it, though. I have to put back, I think, Phantasmal Image. My opponent also mulligan to 6. Okay, opponent starts Swift Spear. We take 1. Go down to 19. Untap. Draw another Smoke Breeder. Play Cavern of Souls, name Elemental. Pass the turn. Opponent starts Lava Dart. Mountain. Light up the stage. Mountain and Swift Spear, 2 cards left in hand. They hit us for 3, we go down to 15. Untap. We draw Thunderkin Awakener, so play Unclaimed Territory, name Elemental. Play Smoke Braider. Really hope that my opponent is not willing to sack a mountain to Lava Dart here, and does not have any other removal. Opponent plays a mountain, plays a Swift Spear, and Flame Slashes. Okay. I would like to top deck a land and play Risen Reef. Alright, Primal Beyond. So, play Primal Beyond, reveal Risen Reef. Blue, green, any color. Another Risen Reef, we draw a card. Okay, pass the turn. And if my opponent, okay, they Lightning Bolt Risen Reef. They've not given up on Lava Dart yet. I would have thought that Lava Dart there would have been correct, but I guess if they were holding a Blood Moon, that makes sense. So we can Thunderkin Awakener back Risen Reef, and then hopefully that gets us somewhere. My opponent is basically out of ammunition except for Lava Dart, but I really fail to see how we can ever hope to beat Blood Moon. Like, we would have to get, when we reanimate Risen Reef here, we'd have to draw and put into play our planes, I think, to really even have a chance. But I guess any land gets us to playing, like, 2 Smoke Braiders, which, like, maybe gives us enough. Okay, Ancient Ziggurat's a land. Okay, we hit our opponent for 2. But, like, just with Lava Dart in the grave, they're representing 5 damage next turn, and we can't not attack with Thunderkin Awakener. I guess next turn we could attack with Risen Reef and then play 2 Smoke Braiders, and then even if we have to block with 1, it's probably fine. Opponent just drew 2 extra cards, so everything is not fine. Okay, they hit us for 2. I'm gonna Lava Dart. You know, if they just Lava Darted Thunderkin Awakener right there, it would become completely useless. Okay, we draw an Ancient Ziggurat. So, go to combat. Pretty sure we're just dead, but I suppose we can try. Get back a Risen Reef, put a land into play tapped. We hit our opponent for 2, or not, because they have blockers now. The intent was to play 2 Smoke Breeders after the fact, but that doesn't really do anything either. Yeah. I think this deck has serious problems with Blood Moon. Alright, I will see you all in round 2. Alrighty. Round 2, here we go. You know what? I like this. We're going to keep it. The question is, what are we going to... question is, what are we going to get off of Flamekin Harbinger, which is the real problem, I suppose. So we're going to start Cavern of Souls, name Elemental, play Flamekin Harbinger, and I think it's probably just Lightning Skelemental. Yeah, I don't think like getting Omnath or anything is better here. I mean, it could be that like Risen Reef is better, but I'm thinking against an unknown opponent, probably getting the more aggressive option is better. So we will use Flamekin Harbinger's ability. Go get Lightning Skelemental. Pass the turn. And see what our opponent's on. They have a Phage the Untouchable icon. Opponent plays a Pendelhaven into a Slippery Boggle. So it's Boggles. We untap. We draw Skelemental. So play Primal Beyond, reveal Smoke Braider, and play Smoke Braider. We will attack for 1, because this Flamekin Harbinger is going to be immediately outclassed. And if our opponent has a Hyena Umbra or a way to give first strike, we're probably not going to be able to attack with this Skelemental. If they take next turn off and play like a Core Spirit Dancer, probably going to be in a pretty good place. So my opponent fetched up a breeding pool. Interestingly enough, they did not get a white source, so they probably have some kind of curious obsession effect. Ah, invisible stalker. That makes sense. Opponent gets in for 1, we're not going to block. Okay, we take 1. We untap. Draw Smoke Raider. Play Unclaimed Territory. Name Elemental. Black, red, red. Play Lightning Skelemental. Go to combat. We're going to attack them for 7 and leave Smoke Raider back to cast our other Smoke Raider. If they do, for some reason, block Flamekin Harbinger here, which I'm 99% sure they will not, I would be comfortable evoking Vesper Lark to put a good elemental on top of our deck. So opponent takes 7, they go to 9, and they have to discard 2 cards. They discard Forest and Dryad Arbor. Play Smoke Raider. Pass the turn. Alright, let's see what kind of nightmarish enchantment fuel they've got. Opponent untaps. Alright, opponent Rancors up Invisible Stalker. They play a Misty. They crack Misty. Probably for like a Temple Garden. Oh, just a Forest. Maybe this is just Simic Boggles. That's interesting. Scale up. Alright, this is not the deck that I thought it was. They're attacking us for 9. They only have 1 card left in hand, and we're going to force them to discard it with Lightning Skelemental again. Alright, take 9, go to 10. And our opponent plays a 1-1. Are they just dead? So we untap, and we'd be attacking for 10. They can block at most 1 damage. Yep, pretty sure they're dead. So, play Thunderkin Awakener. Go to combat. Attack them with everything. Reanimate Skelemental. Yeah, they can block at most 1 damage, and then they take 9. Alright. Okay, so versus Boggles. And Boggles that doesn't appear to be running white. I think what that means is we drop Shriekmaw and bring in Wispmare. And just run it like that. Because none of our targeted removal is going to matter. It seems like they've maxed out on hexproof creatures. With the addition of Invisible Stalker. Like, they might even be playing like Sylphana Ledgewalker, the 2-mana 1/1 reach can only be blocked by creatures with flying or reach that has hexproof. I'm not sure what else they would be playing. And I saw Windswept Heath, and I thought for sure they were running white, because, like, I don't think Daybreak Coronet is that expensive. Maybe it is a budget consideration, because I know it got reprinted, and it's only played in Boggles. Yeah, Daybreak Coronet is not that expensive, and my opponent already has, like, all the fetch lands. Yeah, okay. I mean, this is a turn 3 Omnath, and we can follow this up with, like, Skelemental Voice of Resurgence, potentially. Okay, opponent starts Forest. Our hand is a little bit slow, because I'm assuming, like, with all the Rancors and stuff, my opponent could very quickly make a huge creature, and then that would be an issue for us. Okay, we untap. Opponent started Boggle. We draw Risen Reef. So, play Unclaimed Territory. Name Elemental. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a Breeding Pool. Attacks for 1. Maybe this is like hexproof pump spells? Like Infectless Infect? That would be interesting. They hit us for 1, then they play Invisible Stalker. But that would explain the scale up in Rancor. I don't know if there's a lot of benefit to doing that, but I mean, like, I guess it could be a thing. We'll play Smoke Braider. Pass the turn. I'm imagining that, like, we should probably just Skelemental them next turn. We don't have a way to, like, reanimate it quickly or anything. Might of Old Croza. Yeah, this looks like Infectless Infect. Groundswell. They're going to hit us for 14, take us to 5. So in that case, we need to play Omnath and gain life. Because at worst, Omnath will undo one of their pump spells. Because their pump spell is going to be like 4 damage or less. I guess, actually, if we're going to 5, we should probably Skelemental them. Because Scale Up would kill us here. Well, is that true? No, Omnath life gain is better. So, red, blue, white, green. Play Omnath. Draw a card. I figured out why they put draw a card. One of my Discord users, and I don't remember who it was, I think it was either Six Sigma or Clayton, was like, you know why they put the draw the card on there, right? It's so you can respond to Omnath before the landfall ability resolves for the first time. And I was like, that's kind of clever, except if that's the case, it made the card way more powerful. Gain 4 life by playing a Reflecting Pool here. We have nothing we can Wisp Mare at the moment, so we'll just pass the turn. So my opponent would need, like, Scale Up +1 Pump Spell to kill us here, which is not impossible for them to have. But if they don't, we're going to play a bunch of Elementals next turn. Because we're going to play like Risen Reef and probably get a land or two. Silhana Ledgewalker. Silhana. I was going from memory, so I definitely got this one wrong. And they did have a Scale Up. Alright, opponent hits us for 6. They are Hellbent. They have no cards left in hand. So we take 6. Go down to 3. Untap. Draw Vesperlark. So play Unclaimed Territory, name Elemental, and now we have 6 mana. So play Risen Reef, green, blue, whatever. Play Risen Reef. If we hit a land, we get a bunch of mana off of Omnath, and this is going to get real nasty. Okay. Primal Beyond. I don't know if I actually need to reveal anything. I guess we'll reveal Skelemental. So we get a bunch of mana. Okay. So red, black, play Skelemental, Risen Reef, draw Voice of Resurgence, play Voice of Resurgence, and we're left with just a blue mana floating right now. If we can get a land, we deal 4 damage to our opponent. Okay, so we get a land. Name Elemental. I could evoke Wispmare just for a draw, or I could cycle Vesperlark just for a draw. I'm going to do the Vesperlark play, even though I'm not reanimating anything. Alright. Risen Reef. We draw Thunderkin Awakener, which is going to be really awesome. Definitely going to close out this game. Vesperlark dies. Because next turn we'll just play Skelemental and reanimate the other Skelemental, and then life is fine and dandy. The only thing that my opponent could do that would beat us is if we're at 7, we don't have any creatures that fly, so if they draw exactly another Scale Up, they can kill us. Because I did not cast out Vesperlark. I evoked it. But I didn't have mana to cast it. So maybe playing Voice of Resurgence was incorrect. Maybe I needed to play Vesperlark as a flying blocker. But they have to top deck another Scale Up for that to work. So we'll hit them for 10. They go to 4. Okay. They chump Omnath with Slippery Boggle. Opponent recognizes they need that Silhana Ledgewalker. They go to 8. We sacrifice Skelemental. We pass. Opponent top decks Shadow Spear, but unfortunately that will not keep them alive. Not a bad card to be playing in a deck like this. Giving a slight toughness boost, or power and toughness boost, lifelink and trample is good. I'm kind of glad they did not put First Strike on Shadow Spear, even though spears are the kind of thing that generally have First Strike because it's a long weapon, and never mind. But opponent goes up to 10, but they're just dead. We untap. Okay, we draw Cavern of Souls, play Cavern, name Elemental, gain life, black, red, red, play Lightning Skelemental. Then we're going to play Thunderkin Awakener, and that just seals the deal no matter what. Risen Reef. I mean, we could just go crazy. It's kind of BM, but I don't know how often we're going to get to do this. Add a bunch of mana. Play Thunderkin Awakener. Risen Reef. And our opponent scoops it up. Sweet. I will see you guys in round 3. Alrighty, round 3, here we go. Well, we have a Smoke Braider. I'm going to keep this. We can play either Voice or Smoke Braider on turn 2, depending on what our opponent is playing. It appears to be a Yorian deck, so it's probably like Yorian Snow Control or something like that. We'll start Ancient Ziggurat because it does hide what we're doing, at least for a turn. We're not going to play this Plains unless we have to. Opponent plays another Prismatic Vista. Cracks Prismatic Vista, they're going to find another Forest. Interesting. It's probably like Heliod combo then, maybe? Spreading out their Utopia Sprawls. It's Bant. They added blue. We draw Shriekmaw, so play Ancient Ziggurat. Play Smoke Braider. This might get mana leaked. Pass the turn. Okay, opponent flashes an Omen of the Sea, which is a good Yorian flicker target. So this looks like an older Yorian list where they're playing stuff like Abundant Growth, Omen of the Sea, to actually flicker with Yorian and use Yorian as a late game card advantage spell plus threat, which is pretty sweet. Oh, opponent has a promo Misty. Crack Misty. They get a Temple Garden. Untapped. Play Skoos. And Eidolon of Rhetoric. Well, I mean, if they thought it was going to stop me, they're wrong. Play a Plains. Let's go ahead and evoke Shriekmaw. Kind of a good top deck. Destroy Eidolon of Rhetoric. Then play Skelemental. Red. Or black, red. Red. Go to combat. Make them dump their hand. Opponent discards Sacred Foundry and Brain Maggot. Okay, so Sacred Foundry tells me that they're probably actually running Kiki combo, because they probably have, like, Restoration Angel. Reflector Mage, bouncing Smoke Braider. Okay. That's slightly annoying because we don't have a 1-mana creature to play off of, like, Risen Reef, but we're still going to play Risen Reef here. We untap and draw Fulminator, which, unfortunately, is not going to do enough. Blue, green. Play Risen Reef. Risen Reef draws us Omnath. So play Primal Beyond, not revealing anything past the turn. If we play Omnath and Risen Reef hits a land, and we draw land, we are going to be in a fantastic place. But it probably is just putting Yorian in their hand. They play Enigmatic Incarnation, which is a card that I would not have predicted. Props to you, opponent. So they get to sack an enchantment and then Birthing Pod for a creature, basically. So they're going to go get a 3-drop and put it into play. Watch it be like a Plague Engineer naming elementals. That would just be that would just be the meanest. Just like they have everything. I mean, so okay, it's a Magus of the Moon. It's still mean, but it's not the end of the world because we do have a Smoke Braider. We also have a white source, so we can cast slightly more things than we could otherwise. We draw an Omnath. We still play a Thunderkin Awakener, even though we don't get to attack with him this turn. We draw a Phantasmal Image. Pass the turn. Thunderkin Awakener is probably just going to chump Skoos. Okay, opponent plays Uro. They draw a card, they gain some life. They got nothing to put into play. Just really hoping they can't kill Smoke Braider, really. They go to combat. They attack us with everybody. So we are going to chump Scavenging Ooze with Thunderkin Awakener and take 4. Next turn we can play Omnath. We can play Omnath Locus of the Royal and kill Magus of Moon. And then play another spell of some kind, like a Phantasmal Image on Risen Reef. Okay, opponent sacks a Utopia Sprawl. You're going to go get a 2-drop. It's a Phantasmal Image on Reflector Mage. And opponent hit the wrong spell, but I don't think it matters. We untap. We draw Unclaimed Territory. So we want to play this after. If we're going to answer Magus of the Moon, we have to play it after. So blue, green, red, white. Do we play Omnath or do we play Omnath? We can answer Magus of the Moon and then replay Risen Reef. Okay. So Magic Online is going offline very soon, which would give us multiple blockers, but we'd still have to chump Scavenging Ooze. I think we play Locus of Creation and then play Fulminator, but that means I'm giving up on this tapping for colored mana for elementals. So play Unclaimed Territory, gain 4 life, play Fulminator. Now we have a blocker. Pass the turn. Next turn we can cast Omnath Locus of the Royal. Opponent goes to combat, attacks for 5. So chump with Fulminator, blow up Temple Garden, take no damage. Enigmatic Incarnation, sack Utopia Sprawl. So they might be getting another Phantasmal Image for Reflector Mage if they've got it, because then they could bounce Smoke Braider. Voice of Resurgence. Okay, I don't care about that too much. We draw another Phantasmal Image. So we're adding blue-green. And I think we're casting Locus of the Royal here to kill Magus of the Moon. Okay, we've unlocked our mana. So now we can play Risen Reef. Okay, get us a land, Risen Reef. There it is. Cavern, name Elemental. Gain life. Oh, hang on. First we put a 1/1 counter on an elemental you control, and then if we draw 8 or more lands, draw a card. Put a 1/1 counter on Omnath, and then we gain 4 life. Okay. No attacks. We'll pass the turn. And then next turn we're just going to go absolutely crazy, making a billion Risen Reefs. That sounds like fun. So my opponent could get a 5-drop if they sack Enigmatic Incarnation on their end step. They only have 2 mana left. Opponent attacks for 7, and they attack with Voice. So chump Voice, or I guess just block Voice. We'll take 7. 8, 9. So we're going to 5. Okay. They get a 4/4 Elemental. They don't sack anything to Enigmatic Incarnation. We untap. We draw Primal Beyond. So play Primal Beyond, revealing Smoke Braider. Counter on Omnath, gain a bunch of life. Then we Phantasmal Image, trying to remember which lands I need to use for this. Cloning Risen Reef. Double Risen Reef trigger. Land. Counter on Omnath. Get a bunch of mana. Okay, Voice of Resurgence on top of my deck. Play Risen Reef. Yep. So many. We're gonna play another one too. So much value. Oh, so much absurd value. Okay. So, I don't think Fulminator is going to actually be that good because my opponent is going to, I think, pretty frequently get their basics if they're playing Magus of the Moon and are tutoring it out with Enigmatic Incarnation of all things. Although Fulminator is a card we can cast under Enigmatic Incarnation. We're going to bring in Wispmare as well as our last Vesperlark. I like Flicker Wisp, but I think I need to drop it here, even though it's kind of like part of this weird tutor package we have. And I'm going to cut 1 Phantasmal Image and we're going to try it like this. That's not really keepable. Neither is this. Okay, well, we do have a basic Plains. We can play the cards in our hand, so I think I'm willing to keep now. So we got to put 2 cards back. We're going to put back Unclaimed Territory and Primal Beyond. Opponent starts Wooded Foothills. They also mulligan to 5. Opponent gets a Temple Garden, plays a Utopia Sprawl. We untap. We draw Lightning Skelemental. So Cavern of Souls, name Elemental, pass the turn. Opponent untaps, plays a Wooded Foothills, cracks Wooded Foothills for a forest. They have up to 3 mana here. Renegade Rallier, they're going to get back Wooded Foothills. Okay, this probably is playing Vannifar then. We draw Risen Reef. Play Primal Beyond, revealing Voice of Resurgence. And the reason we're doing this and not playing the Plains is because if I draw another rainbow land, I can play Lightning Skelemental next turn, which is going to have a huge impact. If I play a Plains, I can't do that. Alright, pass to our opponent. They crack Wooded Foothills. Get a Ketria Triome. They untap. You got an Enigmatic Incarnation? Nope, it's Uro. They play a Hollowed Fountain untapped, sack Uro. And then they Spreading Seas us. Well, thankfully, we can still play Risen Reef. Opponent did ramp very, very hard. We untap, draw an Unclaimed Territory, and we would have had him with the Skelemental too. So play Unclaimed Territory, name Elemental. Blue, green, whatever. Play Risen Reef. Risen Reef draws us a Flamekin Harbinger. Okay. I'm going to attack here. Kind of have to get the beats on, because I know my opponent definitely has an infinite combo or two in their deck. You don't play the kind of cards my opponent is playing without having an instant way to win. So, here's hoping we can do something about it before that happens. Opponent plays Deputy of Detention, exiling Risen Reef, and then puts Yorian in their hand. Okay, I need to top deck a black or a red land. So basic mountain or a rainbow land. Take 3, we untap, draw Skelemental, which is the opposite of what I asked for. Play Plains. Play Flamekin Harbinger. We're going to tutor up. It might be Temur Omnath here. Is that correct? It could also be Shriekmaw or 4-color Omnath. We could play 4-color Omnath. I mean, it could also just go get Risen Reef, but I think we get Omnath. I'm going to get Omnath, 4-color. And then we're going to play Thunderkin Awakener. Pass the turn. Because there's nothing I could tutor up there that guarantees we could play a Skelemental next turn, and my opponent is probably not going to have cards in hand anyway. Skelemental that turn would have been insane because we would have made them discard Yorian. They do get to flicker Deputy of Detention to take something else, though, if they want. They can also flicker Renegade Rallier to just get another land. Thankfully, they can't actually draw like a bunch of cards or anything. So they exile Utopia Sprawl because it was on... Was it on a non-basic land? It may have been. I wasn't paying a lot of attention. And then they play Renegade Rallier, so they put it on the same forest. And then Renegade Rallier gets back a land, which they probably just immediately crack so that they don't draw anything. Or they don't draw any more lands. We untap, we draw Omnath. So blue, white, green, red. Play Omnath. Temur Omnath was probably better. We draw Shriekmaw. Shriekmaw is good. Pass the turn, because Shriekmaw can get us back Risen Reef. And then we could maybe do nasty things with Risen Reef. Okay, opponent fetches up a Stomping Ground. They untap. They play an Omen of the Sea, which is a really good top deck. They could actually, they have enough mana, they could actually crack Omen of the Sea in response to the draw trigger and get 2 extra scries before the preordain effect. They play Abundant Growth, and then they play Misty. Alright, well, this Yorian deck is running into the same problem our Battle of Wits deck always does, which is once you've assembled a bunch of mana, draw nothing but mana. So it looks like they're going to crack Omen of the Sea now to try and set up their next draw. Take a look at the chat, see what they do with it. So my opponent puts both cards on top of their deck and then shuffles them away with Misty. Interesting. What are they doing? What are they doing with their mana? Oh, okay, that makes sense. They play Uro, that's pretty good. They put a Prismatic Vista into play. Then they attack us for 4. Well, now I might have to Shriekmaw Uro. We untap. We draw a Shriekmaw. I can just do both. This works out actually pretty nicely for us. So Shriekmaw. Kill Deputy of Detention. We're kind of getting to that point where this deck explodes. Risen Reef trigger, draw Risen Reef. Evoke Shriekmaw. Kill Uro. Get a Vesper Lark. Go to combat. Hit them for 4, 5, 6. If my opponent attacks with Renegade Rallier next turn, we block with Flamekin Harbinger. Opponent cracks Prismatic Vista, gets a mountain. I gotta have a pretty good top deck here. They play Overgrown Tomb tapped. Then they pass, they leave everything on defense. We untap, draw Flamekin Harbinger. So blue, Green, whatever. Play Risen Reef. Multiple Risen Reef power go. Get an unclaimed territory, gain a bunch of life, name Elemental. Draw a Wisp Mare. So I could destroy an enchantment here. I think it's better to play Flamekin Harbinger. And then I want to draw 2 cards. And then tutor. Alright, we draw Risen Reef. Draw Risen Reef. Then we get to tutor an Elemental to the top of our deck. And it's probably going to be Teamer Omnath. Pass the turn. No attacks because we can't attack past a Yorian. How many Risen Reefs is too many Risen Reefs? That's what I want to know. Opponent is top decking only lands and succumbs to the same curse that we do. So, that is all the time I have for recording today. I'm sorry that it is a short video. I can play this deck again if it's popular and people like it, but unfortunately, just due to the current Moto situation of not being able to play a league, I can't finish recording this later today, unfortunately. Hopefully some Kaldheim content's coming up next. What did I do with this? This is jank elementals. Hopefully there's some Kaldheim content coming up after this. I don't know if it's releasing today or tomorrow or what the deal with that is. I will be gone potentially up to 3 days next week as I prepare for travel away from my family and back home to Utah, where content may be slow, or I might just put up a little derpy video that's not a full-length video, so bear with me. Hopefully after I'm back we can get to streaming more regularly and a little bit higher quality setup. I might have to take a day or two to recover, so we'll see, because it's 20 hours of driving, and the last time we did it, it was me and my dad, 5 hours, alternate, and it was too much. But we might have to do that again. So thoughts on this deck? I kind of actually think that Fulminator Mage, Flicker Wisp, and Shriekmaw are really good because there's some utility toolbox with Flamekin Harbinger in the deck. But I'm no expert on this, but I think cutting a Vesperlark and a Phantasmal Image and maybe Fulminator or something in the main deck might be better to just run Aether Vial in this deck. I know that Smokebraider kind of competes with Aether Vial because it's also a quick accelerator. Smokebraider has has some upside, being that you can cast it as a creature off of stuff like Ancient Ziggurat, but I think playing Aether Vial in a elemental deck is the opportunity cost is pretty low and the payoff could potentially be pretty high. So I would like to see an elemental deck that runs Aether Vial. And I'm sure there's some more stuff we could do with the sideboard, but nothing comes to mind immediately. I actually like the Teamer Omnath more than I thought I would, than just the regular 4-color Omnath, because you could play them both in tandem with each other. You can tutor up the other one with Flamekin Harbinger, and Teamer Omnath is a fireball for the number of elementals you have, which after you play 3 Risen Reefs is a lot. So all in all, I think this deck is pretty cool. This is the only deck I'm comfortable playing Omnath in besides Battle of Wits. Yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed this content. If you did, please leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe to the channel if you're so inclined, and remember you can follow me on Twitch. Same username over there as you find me on here. I stream Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, though the last few have been earlier. Yeah. I want you to know that you're all wonderful human beings. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye! Sorry for the short video.